to everyone, I'm FIDE Master and FIDE Trainer Sebastian Fell. Today I would like to share with you 3 of the best opening for beginners. As a trainer, I always discourage my beginner students to study openings. For your level, the opening should only be to help you to get good middle game positions, so there is not really a need to memorize or spend a lot of hours studying openings. It's better to simply know what to do and next to study the middle game and the end game, as they are the most important stages of the game. So first of all, there are 3 important rules in the opening that you should always keep in mind. First, to control the center. Second, to develop your pieces. And third, to put your king into safety, which can be done castling. So let's start seeing what to play with the white pieces. I suggest you to start always with e4, as this is more tactical than d4, and in consequence it can be better understood. Tactics are more concrete than strategical thinking. So here black has many options. We will study the 2 more popular continuations, that's c5 and e5. Let's start with e5. Here I think that the best opening for you will be the 4 knight opening, that starts with knight here, knight c6, knight c3, knight f6. This is the so-called the 4 knights opening, as the 4 knights are developed. Why to study this opening? Well, white is developing his pieces towards the center, controlling it, and it's very easy to understand the typical ideas behind this opening. We will see 2 games from Capablanca, but I really suggest you to find more Capablanca's games with this opening, as they will show you a lot of ideas in the opening and also in the middle game and even in the end game. So let's start with the next popular moves. That's bishop to b5, bishop b4, castle, castle, d3 and d6. This is a very important position. It can be reached from different move orders. It seems like a too symmetrical position, but the fact that it's white turn is very important, as he will define the course of the game. Here, for example, the best move is to play bishop to c5. White is simply threatening to play knight to d5, taking advantage of the pin of the knight. So black typical reaction is knight to e7. This is a very good idea for black. Black can now move the knight to c6 and then to f4, which is a weak square. Also, black is threatening to play c6 and then d5 to control the center with the pawns. So after knight to e7, white must play a typical reaction, which is knight to h4. This is like a must play move after knight to e7, as it prevents the black knight to go to f4, as now it can be taken on c6. Also, this move has the idea to play f2, f4 in some time, and even perhaps to put the knight on f5 in some occasions, as this is also a weak square as f4. It's important to note that to take the knight on f6, it's not as strong as it looks, as black can take the control of this g file, while the king will be very safe on h 8. Also, the double pawns can be exchanged after f6 x5. So after knight to h4, black played king to h4, h8. Perhaps c6 is a better move, but after bishop c4 and knight to g6, white can simply take and then f4, and white has a lot of pressure on the f file. Perhaps the best move for black is c6, but after bishop here, this is the best diagonal for the bishop. It should be remembered that this bishop here is very important. We will see in the game. And after bishop knight to g6, white can simply take and f4, and white has a lot of pressure on the f file. And note that this knight is pinned, and also the pawn on f7 is pinned. So opening this file is very dangerous for black. In the game, black played the king, and after bishop c4, c6, now f4 with similar ideas. Now white is threatening to take the pawn and then to take this knight, winning a pawn because the rook will take again. But here in this game, black choose to play bishop check, and now knight to g4. This is a very strong variation. Black is winning material here. He's threatening a double attack here, attacking the queen and the rook. Also a double attack here, a check and the queen. And also he's threatening f6, and this bishop is lost, is trapped. But Capablanca found a great opportunity. He probably saw it a few months ago. He played f5, sacrificing the exchange after knight here, takes and takes. And white's idea is that he has a lot of pieces to attack the black king. He has both bishops, the knight, and also the queen that can attack the black king. And he can also destroy black position with f6. After takes, and we check. The king has to move, and now the black king can't move, and that is really dangerous. So white only needs to bring the queen to the attack with knight f5. White is threatening the knight. He's also threatening knight here with mate. Also queen check. So black only move. He has to take and has to play here. And after check, he can stop the check with the knight. This is the only move. But it's important that this pawn is pinned, so white can't really take the knight now. But okay, you can pause the video and find how white wins in this position. Okay, white played queen here. He's threatening to take the knight, but he's also threatening to play queen here, and checkmate in g7 is unstoppable. So black is forced to play bishop to e3, and now after takes, black can't take the pawn because there's a lot of mates. Queen here is mate, also queen here is mate, as the f pawn is pinned. And and so black has to play h6, and white is simply winning. He has a lot of different ways to win. Perhaps the easiest way to finish the game is to play rook to e1, as this bishop has to defend this pawn, and after bishop here, simply g3 and knight to e4. The bishop can't really move, as he has to defend this pawn, as I already said, and the bishop is lost, and black can really resign. Okay, so now we can see another Capablanca's game, where he attacks in a pretty similar way. We can go back to this position, and here, instead of knight to e7 as in the previous game, now black played bishop takes, and only now knight to e7. And now you must know how to play with white. And yes, that's correct, white should play knight to h4 again. Remember, this is to prevent the black knight to go to g6. And after pawn to c6 and bishop to c4, black in this particular game, black played a very weak move, bishop to e6. It seems pretty logical to exchange the powerful bishop on c4. As we have already seen, this is a very strong bishop to attack. But the problem is that after taking the knight and taking the bishop, now queen here is check. But it's not only a check, it's only threatening the pawn on e6. So the black king can't go to h4, h8. I don't know what to say. H4 is the safest square for the king, but he has to go to f7 to defend the pawn, and after f4, white is simply opening the file, and the black king is very exposed. In fact, white won this pawn, this f6 pawn, in a few moves after doubling the rooks on the f-file. We can see how the game proceeds after here f5 takes, and white has a lot of pressure over f6, and black can defend it. The knight on f4 can be expelled with g3, and black is lost. Here the king moves, and now the king moves again, and now the g pawn is on pin, so black has to move the knight, and the f6 pawn falls after. Well, white can take the pawn immediately. He first play here, threatening also the h7 pawn. He defended, and white is simply crushing. Capablanca won in a few more moves. I really advise you to find this game, and also other Capablanca's games in this opening, to understand a lot of tactical and strategical motifs, and to be a real expert in the 4 knights opening. So now it's a turn to see another opening, this time how to play against the Sicilian defense. After e7, e4, I don't know, a4, c5 is the Sicilian. This is perhaps the most popular defense against e4 in every level, from beginners to grandmasters, so it's really necessary to know how to play against it. I will suggest you to study the Grand Prix attack. This attack starts after knight to c3 and f4. The idea of this advance is to later push f4, f5 and open lines against the kingside castle. It has many similar motifs to the 4 knights, as the bishop will be developed to c4, and this will be a critical piece in the attack, as we have already seen in the Capablanca's games. Just to see the typical attacking scheme White is trying to play, we will see the next game between two masters. After g6, here bishop to g3 and bishop to c4. These are pretty standard moves. White almost always plays the same moves against any black variation, and really just now he has to decide where to play. If black has fianchetto his king bishop, we can see here, he has a powerful idea to play queen to e2, and the idea is to follow with queen here, f5, bishop to h6, and then not here, the knight to g5, and white will have a lot of pressure over the h7 pawn and also the f7 pawn, and it's really hard to for black to defend against it if he doesn't know this variation, as is often the case. In this particular game, white executes the plan really perfectly. After castle f5, white even plays e5, sacrificing the pawn. This is also very typical. Black takes, queen here, and queen to c7, bishop, and the knight. And now white is simply winning. It seems very easy, and sometimes it is really very easy. Black has no way to defend this pawn. He plays knight takes, and white simply takes and takes here, we check, and queen to h6, and the black king is in a very poor position. After rook here white has many different ways to mate. The quickest is e5 check. This is very pretty. If black take with the pawn, simply knight here is mate. The pawn is pinned. So black take with the king, and after rook check, knight checkmate. This is a very beautiful finish, but this is quite typical. So don't be surprised if you find a lot of games with this attacking device, which I suggest you to do to incorporate the ideas. What I really like about the Grand Prix stack is that this is not the only idea one can play. After studying a lot of classical games and improving, you can later incorporate some other variations in the Grand Prix. For example, in this position, a quite typical position in the Grand Prix, white can obviously play bishop to c4, like in the game we have already seen, but he can also play the more positional variation with bishop to b5, with the pretty simple idea to change here and double the black pawns, and then to attack them. This is pretty simple. This is a really interesting idea for black, but to play this variation, perhaps first you have to really understand how to play against weak pawns and how to attack them. This is very similar to another defenses like the Bogo Indian or the names of Indian. So studying the Grand Prix will expand your knowledge and allow you to play another defenses with similar ideas, which is also very important from an opening. So okay, there are some other important defenses that you should know to how to play against with white. But I also like to share with you some ideas to play with the black pieces. So after e4 here, I recommend you to play e5. And here, white has several good moves. I will flip the board. As I said, white has several good moves and good variations, but I think that you can apply roughly the same moves against all of them, which is simply great. So it's easy to understand. My idea is to play against almost anything, to play knight to c6 and then bishop to c5. For example, after knight to f3, knight to c6, and for example, if white plays bishop here, this is the Spanish opening or the Ruy Lopez opening, and I recommend you to play bishop here. The idea is pretty simple. Black will develop his pieces with knight to f6 and d6 and castle, make a stronghold on e5. This is the most important pawn, as this is your only pawn in the center. And then black will have several ideas, some of them very similar to the 4-knight variation we have already seen. For example, we can see the next game between two grandmasters. After the main move c3, knight, castle, castle, and d4. As I said before, this is really very important. As I said before, this pawn is the key pawn of your position, so you shouldn't exchange it if it is possible. So here black has to play bishop to b6. If white takes, then simply take this pawn, and the e4 pawn is a little weak. We can attack it with the rook, with the queen, or we can simply exchange it with d6 and open the position with a equal position. So after bishop here, white simply develops and pins the knight, and we have to defend the critical pawn, d6. It's very important that white can't simply take the pawn, as after bishop takes, pawn takes, queen takes, and takes this pawn, black regains the material with bishop a6, attacking the rook that has to move, and simply takes the pawn. Black is taking advantage that the back rank is weak. White can't take the knight because this is mate. So black is threatening to take the bishop. He's also threatening to take f2 with check and then the rook. So, and black has a development advantage, so in fact black is better here. So this variation is a disaster for white. He would love to play knight here to finish the development, but the problem is that this move interferes with the queen, and now this pawn is unprotected, and black can simply take and he's winning a pawn. So black has to play first queen to d3 and only then to develop the knight. And black played the queen to e7. This is also a very important move. Black is overprotecting this pawn. As I already seen, this is a very important pawn. And black is also threatening to take on d4 and then to take this weak pawn that is attacked by the queen and also the knight. So black has to defend the pawn. He played rook to e2, to e1. And now we have a pretty similar maneuver that we have already seen in the 4 knights opening. You can pause the video and think what to play with black. Before seeing what to play with black, it's very important to see that the move d5, which is very tempting because it wins space and attacks the knight, but in fact now this bishop is a terrible bishop. It's really great, very active, and the knight can go to b8 and then to d3 and later to c5, and black has to prepare the break on f5, which opens the f file and attacks this weak pawn with the rook and with the bishop. So in fact this is a really good position for black. You should see some other games with this type of position. In beginners games it's very typical for white to push early this d5 move, but this is in fact a back move, so you should take advantage of this. So after rook to e1, the right move is to play knight to d8. The idea is to go to e6, attacking the bishop, and then go to there to f4, which is a very weak square, as we have already seen. Also the knight will win a tempo over the bishop, and I really think that black has a great position here. This is a type of idea that will really help you to win lots of games, so it's really worth to remember. Here the game proceeds with bishop a4, knight, bishop to c3. Here white is threatening to take this pawn, which I already said it's a very important pawn. But here black played a brilliant idea, very difficult to see, but really very strong. The idea is that black has a development advantage, so opening the position for a few tempos, it's a good idea. So he played knight here, and white obviously take the pawn. Black wins a tempo with a rook, and then wins another tempo with a knight, and another tempo, and then another tempo. Black completes the development, all with winning tempos. Black now is trying to take the knight and simply to destroy white castle, so he has to defend the knight, but he can't play the logical move, which is moving the knight and finishing the development. But now black is simply winning. You can again pause the video and discover the winning move. It's very important to always look for hanging pieces to take advantage of them. Here this bishop is hanging, and black simply wins with queen here. The queen is threatening to take the bishop, but also is threatening to take on f2 and even take on c2. For example, if the bishop moves, this is simply mate. And okay, this is a very powerful knight. Remember this maneuver. This knight is a killer knight to attack in the attack. So white has to play bishop here to defend the knight, and also to defend the bishop that it was hanging. But black can simply take and queen takes, and again, if you sum up, there are 3 pieces attacking the king, which is only defended by the bishop, perhaps the queen, but it's very far away. The threat now is to play knight check and to take the pawn. This will win. White play c3, but now black wins with almost every move. He can check and take the pawn. This will be win, but black play the brutal rook to d3. He's threatening to take the bishop, which is hanging again. And after bishop here, we can see a tactical motif we have already seen in the Grand Prix attack. Black wins with rook taking the pawn, as the f2 pawn is pinned again. You can see the power of this bishop here in this variation, also in the Grand Prix attack, and also in the four knights opening. Here white takes, queen check again, queen here, and in this position white simply resigns. Black is simply giving mate. The bishop had to move and then check and take the bishop, and white can simply defend the mate on c2. Okay, this same scheme can be played against another openings. For example, as a simple example, here if white play the king's gambit, this seems a pretty scary opening for black, but black can follow with the same development. Now here white can't take, because after check and taking the pawn is another check, and also the rook is hanging, so black is simply winning. So black play here, and then again bishop here, and black can develop in the same way. d6, knight to f6, castle, and black will have a very solid position. This bishop is fantastic bishop because it's controlling this diagonal, so white can't really castle kingside. This is a problem for white. This is a good variation for black, and also against many other variations, white can simply play the same. Black can simply play the same. For example, knight, I don't know, the Scotch variation. Here, simple take. Okay, obviously this is a very bad move. White will take the bishop, but we can first take the pawn, and after knight takes, bishop here. This is again a very strong variation for black. And also obviously if white plays here, then simply bishop here, and we are in the same development in the Jacobiano this time, and black is really okay. So we have seen 3 openings, very suitable for beginners, as they are easy to understand, but I advise you to look more games from Master Practice. There's a lot of good games in the fortnights and in this variation with the bishop to c5. played by Capablanca, Lasker, Alekin, and many other good players, former grandmasters and former world champions. And from these games, you will learn a lot about the openings, but also about chess in general, about the typical middle games and end games, which will help you to improve, which is what I'm looking for with these free videos for iChess.net. I hope you have learned something and that you have enjoyed the games and the openings, and that you can win some games with ideas we have already seen. So we will see you next Friday, for a new free class, and any suggestions or ideas, I will be pleased to read them in the commentaries here in the YouTube channel below. So nothing more to say. Goodbye.